We all know Ross, the paleontologist from Friends, right? Today I'm going to interview a friend of mine who studies microfossils and estimates their time frames. Her work involves a lot of travel. She has traveled almost all over India, and her work is really interesting. She comes from Kolkata. She has done her PhD from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, and currently she is working as a National Postdoc Fellow at Savitribai Phule University. In this interview, she is sharing valuable understandings of her research in geophysics and also her insights on the relevance of this research to the world. Hi, Deba.
Hi, Aesha, how are you?
I'm good. Good to meet you after so long and for
Long
a
time,
full
long
pause.
time.
Yeah. So we met at PRL, Physical Research
Right,
Laboratory in Ahmedabad, and
exactly.
we were
It was in 2014, I think.
yes, 2014, and you
Uh,
were working on a project then. So
uh, I
I
was
think,
I was doing my PhD at that time.
okay.
Ah,
I want to start with your why you thought of going in science. What was your why were you dragged towards building a career in STEM?
science. Okay. See, it was not planned, obviously.
Hmm.
I took science in school only because of my love for bio and maths. And
Okay.
I dreaded history, although I now find history is very fascinating, seriously. But yeah, at that time I took science because I loved maths and bio. And honestly, I was not very sure like which career path I should take. Then after in post graduation, I joined Calcutta University, and there it was compulsory to take up a dissertation subject. Right.
Okay.
Uh, that is when I was introduced to research.
Okay.
And after completion of this work, the dissertation I was doing under Professor Shengupto, it was on microfossils. I was just like so excited. The end result, the conclusion that I got, and it was so inspiring that is the first thing I decided. I have to come to research.
Acha,
See, being
okay,
a geologist,
there are many things here. So you straight away went to masters and you did a
yeah,
research in micro fossils. So
fossil,
let
yeah,
us first come to terms with what did you do before masters? What did you do your bachelor's in? And
okay.
what
I
is
was in
fossils?
geology honors. Okay, fossil is like preservations of microorganisms, or it was a microfossil, or any kind of animal biotic organisms
Okay.
in the sediment. Okay,
Okay.
so we dig fossils, either it's micro or it's vertebrate macro, and we study them, their taxonomy or their other aspects, like what kind of environment they are preserved. We can study all these things through fossils. So that is what I did in dissertation. But in my PhD, I switched. I actually was not in microfossil. I then switched to, past climatic studies. And my proxies are not micro. It was more physically based, like rock magnetism, isotopes, this kind of. And you asked me first that what I did in bachelor's. I was a geology honor student, and in postgrad, I continued in applied geology. So therefore, in dissertation, which was a compulsory part of our curriculum, I chose at that time. I was like, as I told, I was not very sure about which path I should go, and it was a random choice. So I went for micropal with my professor because I loved that professor. His teaching technique just inspired me a lot. So I went for that, and that is when I found that yes, research is something which is giving me a sense of satisfaction, and that is why I came into this field.
Okay. And as a kid, did you ever like climatic studies or did you enjoy environmental science much?
Um, as a kid, I was very naive, I must say.
Okay. What did you like? What were your hobbies as a kid?
My hobbies, I used to do a lot of activities. There was no specific as such, but I used to love traveling.
Okay.
And taking up this subject, geology, was related to this because my elder brother, cousin brother, he was quite senior to me, and he was already studying this subject. And he told me, if you love traveling, you should go for geology. That is why I took geology, because it's a field-based work. you can travel length and breadth of the country for your work. So traveling and work both comes. So that's the reason I took up geology.
You are the second person in the series, and I have interviewed three people, and you're the second
Okay.
one who said you love traveling, and that's why you pursue this career.
Yeah, but yeah, as a kid, I used to love traveling, but obviously I was not allowed to do solo travel or in groups. As you know, very strict parents. So most of the time, I used to hang out with my friends in relatives' home or neighbors. That was my travel limit when I was young. Not much than that, but I started travel through length and breadth of the country after I joined PhD, because as you know, I've already met you in PRL. Likewise, I went some other in IIT Gandhinagar, Allahabad. These all labs I
Can
visited
you
for field work. Yeah.
can you tell me the whole list of institutes you have been in and the cities?
Not much, not much, not much. I have long way to go. Not much, but yes, I have been to IIT Gandhinagar, PRL, then KSK, which is a geomagnetic institute in Allahabad. It's a branch of IIT in Mumbai. Then I have been to Pune University. And in because of field, I have been to Ladakh, I have been to Kutch, Meghalaya,
Oh, wow.
quite a lot of places. Yeah, quite a lot of places.
Wow, nice. Okay.
Yes, and also I went. My chance to visit abroad is because of research.
So,
Otherwise, I am not from that kind of a background, so I can afford to visit regular But research gave me this chance. Like I went for conferences, I went for laboratory training. I went to Germany for laboratory training.
okay. How
Yeah,
long was it? Where was it?
it was a 3 month stay.
Okay. And
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
trained in?
I'm trained in University of Tübingen in Germany with Professor Erwin Appel. It was a very interesting subject, which right now I am doing an individual project. And this training, first hands-on training, I got there in Germany.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And what are you currently working on?
Okay, I'm a postdoctoral fellow, and I am availing NPDF. Maybe you have heard, National Postdoctoral Fellowship. So
Okay.
I'm doing it from Pune University in
Mhm.
Maharashtra, India.
Okay. And what is your current research topic? And if you would like to explain it to the young, school students, to get a
Okay.
little background of what it is like to work in this field.
Okay, I will try to explain it in layman language, though I know it will be a little bit difficult for me. So I am working in Kutch Basin on the sediments of Kutch. Actually, this area, this Panandro and Umarsar, I am working in the study sites, Panandro and Umarsar. These are the areas in Kutch. These areas are famous because they preserve lots of ancient fossils, animals, lots of fossils that from where we can predict, like as the Indian subcontinent moved from southern hemisphere to this present land, and these animals migrated, okay, and they then got extinct and preserved in the sediments. So these kind of things, if we study the animals, we have to know the specific time. What is the time period they died? What if their animals are endemic or they are cosmopolitan? If you understand what I'm trying to say. So these things are these are not presently, we don't see those kinds of animals. Okay, those kind of fossils we don't see. This sediment preserves these ancient animals, and if we study them, we need to know a particular time, like when they died, when they existed. Okay, and this can give us the idea, like whether the Indian subcontinent uh, was a hub of this endemic animals, or they come from some place, migrated to India. So this kind of thing, this kind of studies are very important in terms of tectonics and biotic evolution, migration. So my presently what I am working is to reconstruct the time frame of this sediment sequence.
Okay.
Okay, and we can reconstruct using relative dating, like also by radiometric dating. Radiometric dating is very costly, and it's not like we can entirely radiometrically date the entire sediment sequence. It's like meters long. It's huge sections. So another option we can do is magnetostratigraphy. It's like Earth's magnetic field changes. Like Earth's magnetic field has a north pole and a south pole.
Mhm.
So it flips. South pole becomes north pole becomes south pole. There is a time period, not specific, like from tens of thousands to tens of millions also, they flip. And this flip, we record it as a normal and reverse polarity, right? And this can be used to reconstruct the magnetostratigraphy of a sediment sequence. So this can give you the relative age, because globally this has been constructed. Okay, this is present globally. So when I study my section, when there is a normal, then there is a reverse, and I correlate with the global GPTS, which we call it global polarity time scale, then we can say that this particular sediment is formed in this time. Obviously, when the fossils is found in that sediment, it is also of existing during that time. So this is how I am constructing the sediment sequence of a region, of this Kutch region. So my specific target is the interbasinal correlating all the sediment sequence in the basin and study their time and also their environment, because automatically I am dealing with the sediment sequence. And when I'm dealing with the sediment sequence, I will do lots of analysis are there, like isotope analysis, sediment analysis, through which we can say like what kind of environment existed, whether it's a shallow sea, deep sea, fluvial, this kind of environment. So that will be a very in-depth discussion if I go into this, how the environment is constructed.
That's great. That's great. I mean, I'd like to discuss it, and I think it will be helpful for students. But before that, if in one sentence, if you can tell me, why the past is important. Why do we need to look at the past? What happened in the past? Who existed, and at what time? Because they say that the answer to the future lies in your past. So there is this quotation.
Exactly. That is what I was going to say. If you have to understand future without the knowledge of the past, you cannot predict. If you want to predict, if you want to understand what is coming, what the risk our future holds, you have to see the past. Otherwise, we don't have any basic framework to compare with. That is why studying past is so important.
Right.
And I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, that's definitely clear. So these kind of studies are going on in other parts of the world as well. And is there an international standard of time of polarity that you match to?
Yes, that is called Debarati time scale, GPTS. That is constructed based on your seafloor spreading. Scientifically, that is the standard with which we compare with our data, with that data to get a particular time period.
Okay.
For that, we can have a age marker. For example, maybe there is a bed of iridium anomaly. Okay, which I am working. That's why iridium anomaly is coming to my mind. That's a bed where we see a peak in iridium element. Okay. And that is said to be globally occurred. So this iridium layer, which occurs nearly the 66 million years ago, that is globally recorded in every part of the world. So we can consider it as an age marker. Okay. So if that is there, so we can particularly say that this is around 66 million years. And then based on that age marker, we try to correlate with the GPTS. From this is the 66, and then the polarity that is happening, we match them. Okay, this is then the normal, okay, this is then the reverse, then the consequent age is coming. Got it?
Wow. Yeah. Okay. For example, you have traveled to different places. For example, you're working on Kutch. So you go to the site, you collect the sample, and do you do any experiment on it? Like, do you have test tubes that you are working with?
Yes, it depends on the subject you are working on, because my subject doesn't need analysis in the field. My subject needs to collect samples, because I collect oriented samples. Oriented means the samples that where I have already marked the north, I have marked the horizontal, and then we drill it, okay, or take the block samples, and then in the lab we drill it after proper reorientation. So my way of sampling in the field is oriented rock blocks. It's not like I have to do any kind of testing in the field. But yes, there are many other subjects in geology that request testing. For example, if somebody is working particularly on sedimentology, they may need to test whether the rock is limestone or something. In that case, they can try it with, they carry HCl, they put it, then they see if there is a reaction. In that case, they can identify. So that kind of thing happens, but it's based on your subject. My subject especially needs the collection of samples, physical samples. Okay, I just physically collect it, and then all the analysis I run in the lab.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you trying to say that physics and chemistry are actually related and not separate subjects?
Definitely. Now I think the research, not now, even research is actually a integrated subject, or every integrated subject, every fields are related to each other. Because the thing I am doing, many geophysics people do this right now, but I am doing many geophysics. It's actually a subject of geophysics. It's not typical geology. It's a geophysics. So yeah, chemistry, physics.
Okay, so
What's up?
geology covers physics, chemistry, and other aspects as
Bio, yeah. Then there is geostatistics, where people do typical statistical things of the geostatistics. So everything, maths, physics, chemistry, bio, everything is there.
Okay, and what does your day at work look like?
In terms of?
In terms of, you go to your office, you have already collected a sample, and do you do data analysis? Do you work with computers? Do you discuss things with your research team? How big is your research team? And yeah.
Actually, when I collect the samples, sample collection is the first step of any project I am just involved in. Okay. After sample collection, yes, then I come to lab, then all the sample preparation thing starts. Then the lab analysis starts, lab measurement starts. Mostly I was involved in the lab work. After sample collection in the lab, first thing that I do is the preparation and analysis. And that's need a lot of time. It's not like a sitting job. It's like always working in the lab, monitoring the changes, measuring the things. It's like this. Then after, once the data comes, laboratory part is done, then you can sit, then you do all the things in your system, computer, you are analyzing it, matching it, correlating it, writing it, having discussions with experts. Then these things comes. So overall, it will depend on the particular time frame, like which time frame now I am in, like whether it's a lab thing is going on or the working, writing part is going on. This thing is.
And is it like your research is an independent thing, or you have to collaborate with a lot of people in different fields to get things done?
Yes, it's a collaborative. I will say it's a collaborative in terms, because when you are submitting a research work, to just like I have submitted a research work and I got selected, that research work is I am the principal investigator of that project.
Okay.
I'm the head of that project in layman words. Okay. But for that work to be successful, I have to do a series of analysis, right? Right now I am doing paleomagnetism, the thing that I told, on the basis of reversals, I reconstruct the age. I am doing that part. Okay. Next part, maybe I will need to do the isotopic studies. Obviously, for that I have to collaborate with an isotopic expert. Maybe he will tell me to come to his lab, and then I will take my samples there. I will do the measurements. But at the same time, after the measurements, I have to discuss with the expert about the results. So this way, I work in collaboration, because collaboration is a very important part of our subject.
Correct. It's a very big part for research.
And
to get recognition of your work, like if you have done something which is really novel for the world, or it's happening for the first time in the world, or it has happened before, but your version of it or your addition should get you recognition. So does that happen? How do you get recognition? Like,
it's basically through your work. You get your work published. And then it is this, obviously, when you get published in good journals, many institutions, many organizations have the subscription to these journals now. So they come to know, or individually people, also scientific people, follow journals. Then when you get published, then people come to know, okay, this person is doing this kind of a work in this kind of a place. There is a research institute called this. So this is how the recognition happens in this field. Okay. Which is also there. You can go to conferences, seminars, right? Both international, national. There also you can discuss and share with all varieties of people working in the same subject. They can also discuss their knowledge with you. This is how the mostly the recognitions and sharing things happen here.
Have you, like, were you aware of this kind of things of getting publications, when you started your journey since your master's,
Yes.
or did you realize it after or during your PhD?
What research?
No, that in research field, you should get
Yeah.
into, publishing your results, or
That I came to know after I came into research. Although I knew it, when you are research, you have to publish, because when I was doing this dissertation, our seniors were working. They're doing their PhD in the same lab. So we used to talk. That time I came to know, yeah, when you are working, you have to publish your data. That is how you get the credibility. That I know initially in the masters also, but when I came to PhD, that is when I was more into this field. I just know the nitty gritties. I came to know all the nitty gritties that's needed after, for the
because
publication research. Yeah,
because there are a few institutions,
yeah,
maybe in our country or maybe somewhere else as well,
yeah.
who during masters they give you an option of either doing research, or you can,
Mm.
it's an optional thing. So
Yep, yep.
it is really bad. Like in masters you should do research,
Mm.
and if you knew
Mm.
that during your masters that you should get publications, then I think you were on the right track. So
Yes, definitely. Because I think in India, I think initially dissertation was not compulsory in many universities.
hmm,
But now, gradually, I am seeing that dissertation has become a compulsory part of this curriculum, because unless and until you do the research work,
yeah.
a minimum idea of the subject, you will not get.
Yeah, correct.
So
And
that
the
is,
research
yeah,
and the research skills that you should be able to develop, and that
yeah.
puts you at par at with the international level. So that's very important.
Exactly. Also, student like I said, because of the dissertation, I chose this field only because I did the dissertation. I came to know about how research is being done, how it interested me. If it is not in the list subject, student will never know like what is research. They
Yeah.
will just go for industry or something else. They will lack this essence, like what research actually means. That is the basic.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually for the industry also, it's better
Yeah.
if people have good and ethical research experience
Yeah,
beforehand.
exactly, exactly, exactly. I think research is needed even in industries also.
Yeah,
It's a very important part. Like
yeah.
ONGCs, Oil Indias, they all have R&D sections.
Hmm. Correct. And you said that you should publish in good journals. So
Yeah.
I have, maybe a couple of years ago, there was a list announced that these
Okay.
journals in India, there was a list that these
Ah,
journals are now not considered, authentic. So as in they were
okay.
cancelled, they were not actually
Okay.
journals. And one
Yes.
of my friends got worried that, okay, during her PhD, she has only published in that journal. So
Oh,
all of that effort was wasted, and she had to find again the whole, she had to go through
yes.
that. So how did
This
you?
is very prevalent. There are predatory journals. There are journals which are just, taking money and publishing, which are not scientifically peer reviewed. The papers that are being submitted, they are not scientifically peer reviewed. There are this kind of journals, and students in research field should do their proper research. Whether they are submitting in the journal is an authentic one, they should discuss with the supervisors. They should discuss with other experts. This is very, very much needed. There are journals who are just frauds.
Hmm.
It's very much prevalent in the society.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah,
As a human being in research has added
yeah.
anything to your life, like your.
I think everything. I think everything. I say this because uh, till my masters, I was staying in the comfort and safety of my home. Okay, I don't know the real world. I moved to Lucknow.
Hmm.
Okay, for my PhD. That is when I came across like a different culture, different people. I started talking to outside world. Like I ventured out into the real world.
Hmm.
So I think my present personality is, most of it, I think 90% is curved because of this research. This thing has curved my personality seriously. I owe this literally. I was very, very naive. I'm telling you, I was very simple. I didn't know anything about the, real world. This research field has shown me this.
And in society, are you given more respect because you are a woman in STEM?
No, because see, women in STEM is, this is a very significant. I consider myself as someone who has contributed some way to the society. In that way, it is significant. But I feel in the society, any woman doing any kind of job should be respected and given equal, place.
But
So
on an
it's not
intellectual,
particularly.
on an intellectual level, are you trusted more because you are, labelized as someone scientific?
I don't feel that way, really. I don't feel that way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe some people may think, oh, she is in science, oh, maybe she is intelligent. But how I see any people doing any kind of job, any job will require your skill, mental and physical.
Yes.
So I think basically what people think, I don't know. I am not very sure. But what my perspective is, I think every woman, whether it is in STEM or other fields, I think they need equal mental stimulation or strength or physical strength to go through any kind of a situation working in a working place.
And being trained in STEM field, do you see any specific skills that were developed in you? Like not traits, but the skills.
Yes. I think patience, one of the virtue that I developed in this field. I think patience. Okay. It needs a hell lot of patience, because what doing an experiment, it went wrong. You have to again do it. Again, it went wrong. So much of trial and error I have to do. Oh my goodness. So yeah, patience. I initially was very impatient as a child. I'm very energetic. I'm still there. Okay, that's not the thing, but yeah, patience. Yeah.
Okay. And would you like to say anything to young students who, would you like to say that they should pursue a career in STEM, or if not STEM, then any piece of advice?
I will say, go after your dreams, whatever field it is. If anybody is interested in STEM, one should know that he or she is committing to a lifelong, learning. It's a lifelong learning. And if you have that mindset that you can do it your entire life, you should come to this field. It will give you ultimate sense of fulfillment. Because I find this field, research field, very interesting. You have brainstorming, you have to do innovation, you can travel, whatnot. It's kind of glamorous. What boring doesn't come with the research.
Yeah. And what are your future aspirations in the field?
To contribute to the society in a good way, in a scientifically sound way, so that my work can have some, impact, societal impact. For example, like my PhD work is basically, past climate reconstruction. Okay. I have studied late quaternary sediments, which is like 19,000 years back here or 10,000 years back. This kind of sediments I have studied in my PhD. And I feel that hopefully I have generated a good data which can be used in the modern, the climate simulation models are there. Those who predict the future, like there'll be more rain, more thunderstorms and like this, but they use the past data for the reliable data to generate in a climate modeling. They need past data. So hopefully I have generated good amount of data that can be used. And in future also, I will try to do this kind of work so that it can have an impact directly or indirectly on society.
That's wonderful, Deba. And it was a really fruitful discussion with you. I'm sure students will learn a lot about geology and geophysics through this conversation. Hopefully. And much more, much more.
Hopefully. It's very nice talking to you. After a long time, it was a fun time in PRL, I remember.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Aesha.